Hello there and welcome to Quick Learn Photography, straight to the point videos that teach you everything that I've learned in over the last decade of professional photography. I'm James, and in this one I'm going to talk about the importance of having two cameras if you're doing anything professional where you're charging people money, or if it's something really important, especially weddings, which I'm going to get into. So you may think, well, cameras are expensive and I don't want to buy two cameras, but if you're charging people money or doing anything of importance or a once in a lifetime thing like a wedding or a special event, then I highly recommend that you have two cameras, and not two different types of cameras. Ones where you can swap the same lens to the other body if something goes wrong with your camera body. So in your car, probably you've got a spare wheel, haven't you? Why? Because if there's a problem with the tire or puncture, you can swap it over and use the other wheel. Same thing with cameras. Now, it doesn't have to cost a fortune. So whatever your main body is, say it's a Nikon, Canon, Fuji, Sony, get a cheaper version or perhaps an older model that can fit the same lens as well, and that's more than capable to get you out of trouble if something goes wrong with that camera during something very important. And I'm going to relate to you a couple of experiences that I've had, and one that makes me cringe, and I don't want you to go through the same thing that I did, because it was incredibly painful and I nearly quit photography because of my stupidity really with having one camera. So yeah, if you're charging people money, you need something else. If you're on a job and something goes wrong, you need to just grab the other camera. So I used to use Nikon for years, so I've had two all the time. So if something went wrong with this one, which was my main body, I could switch the lenses over and put them on this one. And if you get an older version, they're usually a lot cheaper. So the camera I'm using here is a Sony a7 IV, which is not cheap, but it's my new camera, well, newer camera, because my old one's getting beaten up, but I've still got the Sony a7 III, which you can get for an awful lot cheaper. So I could put the lenses that I use for this on the a7 III if something went wrong. So the last video, I don't know if you saw that, it was about having two memory cards recording. A lot of cameras now have two memory cards, even older ones, so you can have them both recording, because memory cards can corrupt and go wrong, as they have done with me. But fortunately, the other card recorded, so I still got paid for the job, or I didn't miss something very important. So I really stressed that about having a camera with two memory cards. So now I'm going to really stress about having two camera bodies with you. And also, if you're at, say, something really important like a wedding, don't have it in the car as backup, have it on you. You can get harnesses with two straps, or have a little bag or a satchel. That's what I do. I have a little satchel with backup stuff in there as well. Not just another camera body, but a backup little lens, like a little prime lens, backup batteries, memory cards, a cloth, all sorts of things. Have it backed up. But obviously, the main thing is your camera body. So if you're charging a client for money, if you're perhaps starting up photography, or you're doing paid work as well as your normal job, or you're hoping to progress into a professional full-time photographer, if something goes wrong on a job with your camera, you need to be able to carry on. Otherwise, it can really damage your reputation as a professional photographer, and the client won't be happy and have to reschedule the whole thing as well, and it won't look very good. If it's something very important like an event, it's not going to happen again. So if something goes wrong with your camera, that's that over with. The one thing I think is most important, not as in money so much, it's good money, but is weddings. If you're photographing someone's wedding, perhaps a friend's wedding or a family's wedding, because you've got a good camera and you're a pretty dab hand at holiday photos or photographing nature, that sort of thing. If something goes wrong with that camera during a wedding, that's it. Nothing's coming back from that, because weddings come and go. After the day, everything's packed away and gone. All that's left are the photos and the video as well. So this applies to videography too. So I'm going to relate to you two stories. One was in front of two clients that I was photographing, and I was a bit reckless. I grabbed my camera out of the bag, but I forgot it had a massive 70 to 200 lens on it, and I grabbed it by the handle of the camera like that, not by the camera lens, the lens, which I should have done. And as I did, the weight of the lens, it went and it wrenched the mount. It broke the ring, the mount where the lens goes on. So that was that camera screwed. But fortunately, I had another one with me. So I acted very calm. Inside I was screaming because I just broke my camera by being stupid, but I had another one. So I grabbed it and carried on. Another thing about having another camera, I'll say this now just in case I forget it, is don't just have a backup camera, but have it set the way your main camera is set. The same thing, perhaps aperture priority, white balance, whatever it is you're doing, the shutter speed, blah, blah, blah. Have it set so if something goes wrong during a situation, you grab the other one, switch a lens, or have a lens already on it. I always had a 50mm prime lens on my backup camera. That can cover just about everything. So you grab that and carry on, but have the same settings as well. So you can just crack on in a split second as if nothing happened, okay? The worst one that happened to me was a wedding. It was the second wedding that I did. Now, this is a painful story, so I don't want you to go through this, okay? So it was over 10 years ago. I was starting to do wedding photography. I'd done one already for a friend and it went very, very well. Then another couple were getting married, I knew, and I said, can I photograph your wedding to build up my portfolio? And they looked at the previous one I did and said, yeah, that's fine, that's great. And I had a really, really good camera. It was full frame, it was really good for its day, it was really powerful, I had a couple of lenses, and yeah, I was good to go. Just before the bride walked down the aisle in front of about 150 people with her father, the camera didn't break, but I clicked something, obviously. I found out later on what it was. It was user error, but I wasn't familiar with the camera and it locked up. It went into EE mode, which means like the lens mount wasn't going to work. It just wouldn't focus and it wouldn't take a picture. Nothing would happen. So as she was slowly walking down the aisle with her father, the proudest moment of his life, such a special moment, I'm down the bottom furiously trying to click everything on and off and taking the battery in and out and switching it back on and again, and I missed it. I had the one camera and I missed that real special moment. If I had had another camera at hand, I would have just grabbed that and carried on and worried about what was wrong with that camera later, but I missed it. And for the rest of the day, I didn't know if that camera was going to do it again, just lock up randomly, and I only had the one camera. I found out later on what the problem was. It was my problem for not being familiar with all the settings. But even so, I didn't know if it had broke or if there was a malfunction or anything. And I had to carry on for the rest of the wedding in a right state, and it affected my images as well. I was off my game. It threw me real bad. I lost all my confidence. It was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. And I didn't want to carry on after that. I never wanted to do weddings again after that. I'd already said to another couple 3 weeks later that I would do their wedding. It was a family member. So I kind of promised them I couldn't let them down. So the first thing I did was buy another Nikon camera, an older version, but one where I could carry on if I had to. So when that wedding happened and she was walking down the aisle, I was shaking like a poodle like that, like PTSD is happening again. But if something went wrong, I would have grabbed that other camera. And ever since that moment, I've always had two cameras with me. So yeah, I was going to quit photography after that. It was sickening and I was embarrassed. People were like, what's wrong with him down there? Obviously word got out. They weren't nasty about it, but word got out that I missed the main thing, her walking down the aisle. I didn't capture it, so it didn't look good for my reputation. And it was horrible. So I'm sharing that with you so you don't have to go through that pain if you're doing something important, especially someone's wedding, and especially if you're getting paid. It wouldn't look good in front of the client, would it, if you dropped your camera, which can happen. I broke mine with the lens mount, or something goes wrong with it. Along with the camera, have stuff that goes with the camera, like batteries, memory cards, even a cloth, things like that. Have backup with you all the time. So yeah, I thought I'd share that story. So if you're learning photography and you think, I do want to start charging money for photography, and I'm going to get into that more during the videos to come, getting into actually how you can really start making good money or enough money to replace your job maybe doing photography, but get two cameras. Really, really stressed, get two cameras. You don't want to go through what I went through by being a bit irresponsible. And especially wedding photography, please, please, please have a backup camera and have it at hand as well where you can grab it quick. So I really hope that helps. Learn from my mistake. Don't go through the same thing and be responsible about it. And if you get older cameras, second-hand cameras, or the version before the one you've got, you can usually find them an awful lot cheaper. So I really, really hope that helps. If you want to work along with me on one-to-one coaching online, I'm starting to do that now. So the link is down below. We can set something up, get in touch. And if there's any techniques you want to learn or advice on photography or something you're struggling with on the camera or editing or something, if it's within my capability to teach you, then yeah, feel free to get in touch below. So I'm going to say it one more time, I'm going to really stress it. If you're shooting professionally or charging money or doing something important, get 2 cameras. I hope that helps.